Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. If you could find your seat, we'll begin our program. Welcome back to the Economic Club of Indiana, and thank you all for coming today to our fourth luncheon of the 49th season. We've had a fabulous start to our 49th season and are looking forward to more great opportunities for connection in 2024. Keep an eye out for information coming soon regarding our January luncheon, and save the date for our February 15th luncheon with Adam Silver, the Commissioner of the NBA. My name is Jeffrey Harrison. I'm President and CEO of Citizens Energy Group. I'm also very honored to serve as the President of the Economic Club of Indiana for the 23-24 season. Before I introduce the President's Table, let's take a moment to once again thank our Platinum sponsors for this season. Please. Recall those banners outlined in gold designate organizations that have been sponsors for at least 10 years, and we're adding a few more to the special group again this season. Many of our luncheons become trending topics online, so please share by expanding today's conversation through social media. You can post or like us so that all your friends will know that, again, you're involved with the lively conversations at the Economic Club of Indiana. The Economic Club X handle is @EconomicClubIN. We are already posting using the hashtag EconLunch, and you can also find us on Facebook. Let's talk parking again for just a moment. If you've parked in the Plaza Garage, please be sure to pick up a QR code after lunch to pay a special event parking rate of $12 for today. That's the normal price of 1 hour of parking, and Duncanson Parking has been very generous in extending this discount for future luncheons this season. So thank you again to Duncanson's Parking. Now, let's present our President's Table, and would each of you please stand when I introduce you? We are pleased to have OneAmerica join us this season as our presenting sponsor, and representing OneAmerica is Karen Surratt, Executive Vice President, leading the Employee Benefits Business, Enterprise Strategy, Business Improvement, Enterprise Marketing and Communications, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Community Affairs. Wow, Karen, wow. Karen also serves as a member of the OneAmerica Executive Council. Again, join me in a big round of applause to Karen, and thank you, OneAmerica, for your generous support. Next, we have Patrick Talty, President of Indiana Sports Corp. Today's luncheon is brought to you by Indiana Sports Corp., whose mission is to create positive impact by hosting world-class sporting events which drive economic vitality, facilitate a vibrant community with civic pride, garner national and international media attention, and create opportunities for youth. Join me in thanking Patrick and the Indiana Sports Corp. For their support as well. Wonderful work. Next, we have Todd Peterson, Chief Strategy Officer, Authentics. Todd is a member of the Economic Club Board of Indiana Board of Governors and serves as the chair of the Sponsor Relations Committee of the board. Thank you, Todd. Next, we have Rachel Head, Director of Programs at the Riviera Club Foundation, which was formed by members of the Riviera Club and offers water safety and wellness opportunities that empower all members of the community to learn how to swim and enhance their health. Rachel is an integral part of the impact around the swimming trials and is helping youth learn to swim. Thank you very much, Rachel, for being here. Then we have today's speaker, Scott Davison, CEO of OneAmerica. I'll share more about Scott here a bit after the meal. Thank you to all of our guests for joining us today, and once again, would you please give me a round of applause for our President's Table. Thank you. You will find white cards on your table. If you have a question for our speaker today, you can fill out those cards. Please raise them up during the program, and our event team will collect your questions. As a reminder, you can also post your questions on @EconomicClubIN, and we're encouraging you to post about today's luncheon. We are receiving a number of amazing questions via X as well, so please, let's keep them coming. Please enjoy your lunch and conversation, and we'll be back in just a moment to start the program. Thank you. Good afternoon again, everyone. Please continue to eat. But it is my great honor to introduce today's speaker, who I'm very excited to hear from today. Our speaker, Scott Davison, is the chairman, president, and CEO of OneAmerica. Scott leads the OneAmerica nationwide network of companies and affiliates which offer a wide variety of products, including retirement, individual life insurance, annuities, asset-based long care solutions, and employee benefits. He was appointed president in 2013, CEO in 2014, and chairman of the board in 2017. He began his nearly 35-year career in the insurance industry at UNUM, where he served in a variety of financial roles, including chief financial officer. Scott is the chair of the board of directors for the American Council of Life Insurers, as well as chair of the trustees of the American College of Financial Services. He also serves on the boards of Central Indiana Corporate Partnership and Ascend Indiana. Scott previously served as board member for the Indiana University Health and also served as their chair. Camptown, Inc., LLC Global, Indiana Sports Corporation, the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, and the 2004 FINA World Swimming Championships. Scott is currently co-chair with Karen Surratt of the local organizing committee for the 2024 U.S. Olympic swimming trials. He earned a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and History from Middlebury College and a Master of Business Administration from the University of Southern Maine. He is an alumnus of Harvard's Business School's Advanced Management Program, a huge swimmer, coach, mentor, and amazing father. Please help me welcome Scott as we invite him up to the stage. Scott.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you, Jeff. I got to say this as Jeff is sitting down. There is almost no one right now that's doing more from a leadership standpoint in this community than Jeff Harrison. I don't know if you know this, but he's on like 20 boards, and not making that up. He actually is skipping part of the IU Health Board meeting right now so that he can be here with us. But in all seriousness, when it comes to things like racial equity, when it comes to health care, when it comes to education, he is just serving, and it's a special leader that knows the difference between service and serve us. And Jeff, you're so extraordinary. Thank God we have you in this community. Round of applause for Jeff, please. Well, happy holidays. It's great to be with all of you today. So today's talk won't be a typical message of transformation. I promise there'll be no big buzzwords and no lofty aspirations that are hard to connect to daily life. I'll try to give you something that's practical and hopefully a couple tips that you can take home. Because while there is a complex methodology tied to the art and science of transformational efforts, my hope today is simply to get your creative juices flowing and discuss with you ways you can apply 5 key principles to your organization or your department or your own way of leading through everyday challenges and opportunities. But first, if you would indulge me, I would like to take just a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit about OneAmerica, a company I love so much. Now, I know a lot of you were excited today to hear amazing lessons of leadership from a local bank CEO. And trust me, banking is a wonderful industry and is vital to the working of our economy and everyday life in America. So I'm going to have to start with what may be a disappointment for some of you. OneAmerica is not a bank, and I'm not a bank CEO. We're not a bank, but a lot of folks in India still think we are, so would you please help me out? Tell all your friends. So if we're not a bank, what are we? Well, at our core, we're a life insurance company. We offer life insurance and annuities to individuals, group life and disability to employers. We administer retirement plans like 401ks, and we are the market leader and the clear innovator in a type of long-term care insurance that guarantees customers will never have a rate increase and will always get a benefit no matter what. We're one of the strongest companies in our industry. We've been around for a very long time. One thing you should know is we are not a public company, so we don't have shareholders. We are effectively owned by our customers. So every dollar of profit we earn either stays in the company to support our policyholders, or it gets invested in the communities where we serve. So we started 146 years ago as an insurance program within a fraternal membership organization. See, those members agreed to pay premiums and assessments to support the widows and the children of those members who passed prematurely. Now, since we're going to be talking about transformation and innovation today, I found it very funny. A couple of years ago, I'm sitting in an industry conference, and I hear this young presenter breathlessly explain about this cool fintech startup he just heard about and a brand new concept, crowd-based life insurance. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's a great idea. We started doing that in 1877, so nice try, kid. Now, a little bit more about OneAmerica. We do have 2,500 employees across the country, and about a little over 1,700 of them are based right here in central Indiana. And we've grown our employee base about 84% over the past decade. We are one of the fastest growing companies in the industry, and we've nearly tripled our assets under administration over that time period to more than $90 billion. But as we are owned by our customers, at our core, we are driven by a deep sense of mission, because we're here to serve American families. That's what we're here for. And we have a commitment to building lasting relationships of mutual trust with clients, with financial advisors, our community, and with each other. Because see, in a corporate world that can often feel cold and robotic, we seek to make our relationships warm and human-centered. And lastly, we are highly committed to our home city and our home state. We take pride and punch it above our weight class when it comes to our financial support of local nonprofits, and you'll find our people highly engaged in nonprofit leadership. Most importantly, when there's a need for people power, whether it's at the IRT, big races downtown, major sporting events, the U.S. Olympic trials, or just our annual OneAmerica Week of Caring, you can bet that the OneAmerica Volunteer Army is going to show up in force. So I'd like to speak a little bit about leading transformation for just a bit. And the concepts I'm going to share with you, they apply to large enterprise-level transformations. They can also help business units and departments change and thrive as well. Most often, people think about transformation synonymous with innovation. And one can easily conceive that the path to profit is about leveraging disruptive change in business models. So think Uber versus taxis, or Netflix versus blockbusters. And those are kind of tired examples, and there are examples of that, but in the larger scheme of the business world, there aren't that many examples like that. Sometimes people think of innovative technologies such as video conferencing like Zoom or blockchain. The hottest right now is artificial intelligence. And those innovations are notable, they're going to make a difference, and they're important. But I'd argue there's enormous opportunity for you to transform your organization, your department, and your personal leadership through a fundamental way of approaching challenges and opportunities. And yep, there's catalysts like technology or consultants, and they can kickstart your thinking. But for me, I've used 5 keys to lasting and successful transformational change that have worked for me time and time again through everyday innovation. Innovation that is often inexpensive and may or may not include the use of dazzling new technology. So how do you start down the journey of transformational leadership? Well, first, start with purpose. Why do you do what you do? At OneAmerica, we champion lives. We believe in creating certainty for a better financial future for our clients. We enable them to build all-weather financial plans that support them on their best days, like the day they retire, or start a family, or start a new business, and also on their worst days, when the market goes haywire, when the unthinkable happens, like when a parent passes prematurely, when a breadwinner becomes disabled, or when a loved one requires long-term care. And on those days, we become the financial first responders for those families. Now, it's true that it's easy to have a catchy slogan for your purpose, but you have to live it out every day and inspire those around you to unlock potential in themselves. And the best way to do that is to tell stories. For me, our purpose became very personal on December 2nd, 2009. That was the day when my friend and next-door neighbor died of cancer at age 49, leaving a stay-at-home mom and two young ones who were best friends with my own children. And when I walked up that driveway with a life insurance check in my pocket that was going to sustain that family's lifestyle, keep them in their home, and allow mom to continue to be a full-time caregiver for their kids as they had always planned, when I walked up that driveway, I was literally walking our purpose. And my work has never been the same for me since. The second step is to take stock of the assets of your organization. What are you good at? What unique assets do you have that can drive competitive advantage for your organization or positive change in your culture or in the community? What do you bring to the table that others don't that can make lasting change? And how can you reposition those assets to drive transformational change? Well, at OneAmerica, this approach has enabled innovation in our work to drive positive change in our business, and it's also helped us lift up underserved people in our community. And let me share as an example the work we've done in community development over the last several years. Now, we start with a fundamental belief that to innovate in community development, companies need to come to the table with more than a check. So we asked, what are we good at as a company that can help in the community? Well, first, we've got a lot of high-paying jobs, or great jobs, and with opportunities to learn and grow. Second, we have an amazing spirit of volunteerism and large numbers of employees willing to mentor people. We know how to advise people on their financial lives. And lastly, we invest large amounts of capital into the U.S. economy every year. In fact, collectively, life insurance companies are the largest bond buyers in the world. So we align those strengths to drive positive change through innovation. We created our Pathways program in 2018. Now, Pathways provides youth who might otherwise never envision themselves working in a place like OneAmerica. It provides them with paid apprenticeships and permanent employment supported by specialized training, specialized support, and both personal and professional mentorships. We partner with the American College of Financial Services to make an innovative, gamified personal financial education program that is aimed at Black women, to make it available free of charge to nonprofits from Lafayette to Bloomington. And we've co-led an initiative within the life insurance industry to pool our investment resources to make new sources of capital available for affordable housing, while at the same time ensuring that those investments continue to support our commitments to our policyholders. This work has made a real difference. And more than that, it's transformed our culture. And it's enabled learnings that we apply every day in our core businesses. Third step, face the brutal facts and innovate to eliminate your deficiencies. This is the hard one. You have to ask yourself, where are you falling short with regard to your mission, your values, and your potential? You need to take stock. The greatest leaders I've been around have two consistent traits. First, a deep humility that enables them to admit what needs to change, combined with a relentless competitive fire to be the very best. At OneAmerica, we profess to be mission-focused, we profess to be relationship-oriented, and to provide exceptional human-centered experiences. But I'll tell you, 10 years ago, our claim service, well, it stunk. We weren't there with empathy and excellent service in the moments that mattered the most to our clients. And frankly, it made me sick to my stomach. So we made changes. We innovated. We explored how empathy shows up in the claims process. We enabled our associates to succeed and rewarded them for providing empathetic service that matched our aspirations each and every day. We fixed broken processes, and we innovated in 1,000 very, very small ways. And today, our claims service is widely recognized as industry leading. And it's a competitive advantage for our business, and it also makes our purpose come to life as it's driving business results. Here's another brutal fact we had to face. a lack of diversity in our leadership. 10 years ago, out of our top 70 leaders, 2% minority, one black man out of 70, and only 18% women. Now, we imagine ourselves to be a company that was open to all people, but the brutal facts indicated otherwise. Today, 18% of our leaders are minorities, and a third are women. A third of our board are people of color, and half are women. And when we made this change, our leadership core became stronger and better performing than it ever had been before. And today, we can attract the very best people, regardless of their demographic or their identity. And that is a huge business advantage. Now, how we do it? Well, with intentionality and very basic innovation. We expanded our recruiting and referral networks to ensure we were getting access to the very best talent available in the market. And we made changes to our culture to make sure that the people we wanted to attract would feel included and comfortable at OneAmerica. Here's the fourth tip, and there's a huge opportunity here. Look for your 2-for-1 opportunities. What I mean by that is, how can you make $1 or 1 hour of effort serve multiple purposes? Now, here's an example in the community. 5 years ago, I started a conversation with the CEO of USA Swimming and Indiana Sports Corp about bringing the 2024 Olympic trials back to Indianapolis. And here's a video that will help you understand just what's coming to Indy next June. Those athletes, the best athletes in the world, have to be 1 or 2 on that day, or they don't go to Paris. You're not going to want to miss it. Now, this event provides the sport of swimming, our community, and OneAmerica with a multitude of benefits. We will transform the sport of swimming. That's what we do here at Indy. And we're going to do it by tripling the number of fans that experience the trials. In fact, it's going to be the largest indoor swim meet in world history, and the first time that 3 pools will be built on the field of an NFL stadium. We'll have 30,000 fans a night for 9 nights downtown, and that's going to drive the economic and cultural vibrancy of our city that we need, particularly in a post-COVID world. And here's a great thing. The trials are going to be broadcast live on NBC for 9 nights in prime time, and that's going to show off our city and build on our reputation as the nation's absolute sports capital. And here's the part I'm most excited about. We will lift up underserved communities through our Trials Legacy Project. We're going to be teaching 50,000 kids from underserved communities to be water safe. If you don't know this, you should. Drowning is the #2 cause of accidental death for children under the age of 14. And in Black and brown communities, the numbers are staggering, and it's unacceptable. But through the trials, we're going to make a real impact on this problem. Thank you. Now, for OneAmerica, we're combining our sponsorship of the Olympic trials also with a sponsorship and a partnership with USA Swimming. And what that's going to do for us is to engage our associates, allow us to meet our community support goals, and drive our brand. So our brand will be visible at the Olympic trials, and we're actually going to be at the Olympic Games in Paris with the team as the only corporate brand featured on the team's uniforms. So let me add this up. Supporting our community, lifting up the underserved, engaging our associates, driving our brand. That's a 4-for-1. 4 benefits for the same investment of time and money. And as a bonus, maybe, just maybe, people will understand that we're a life insurance company and not a bank. My bankers in the audience, I love you. I just don't know anything about it. I know I put money in, I can take it out, it's always there, it's great. I do have to say this, though. As co-chair of the trials and a guy who's always closing, tickets are on sale, and we have an affordable package for any company or any individual. In all seriousness, we need to get people downtown, and we need you and your company engaged. And doggone it, it's going to be a blast. You won't want to miss this event. We're going to make it like a Super Bowl with activation on Georgia Street, all the fun stuff in the convention center. And my sports court people are right down here. These guys have tickets. Please see them afterwards. They'll be happy to take your credit cards, I think, right now. Now, innovation at its best solves multiple challenges with the same dollar and the same amount of effort. My fifth point, if you want to lead transformational change, it helps greatly if you're viewed as human, approachable, vulnerable, authentic, imperfect, humble, and fully committed to your people and your organization's mission and values. Now, when I first took the CEO job in 2014, I noticed that associates would call me Mr. Davison. Well, that's kind of weird. It's certainly impersonal and definitely not the relational culture that I wanted at OneAmerica. So I sent out an all-associate email that I wrote myself, and it was titled, "Please call me Scott." I was trying to connect on a personal level. But what was actually hilarious is a significant number of our leaders and sales directors read it as, "Please call me Scott." So my phone's blowing up with anxious calls of, "The new CEO wants to talk to me right now, doggone it. I better call him back." And boy, it provided a clear lesson in clear communication, because apparently punctuation matters. No, this isn't on our signboard today. We tried, but the signboard police wouldn't let us put this up, unfortunately. So I did the emails, and they worked for a while, and then came COVID. And with COVID, how are we going to maintain human relationships with associates when we can't be physically together? Because we needed to increase engagement and enable a sense of true community and strong communication when so many people were left feeling isolated and frankly worried. Well, we deployed a lot of solutions, but there was one simple approach, one simple teeny little innovation that made all the difference. The answer? Videos. Videos from me, weekly at first, and then every couple of weeks. 2 to 4 minute videos updating associates on results, on strategy, on the latest about COVID, industry news, or whatever might be top of mind. I shoot these videos myself on my iPad. They're completely unscripted, they're organic, they're absolutely imperfect, but they're real. And I've shot videos at the office, on my back porch, on my kayak, in a swimming pool, and hanging off a mountain cliff. We've tackled issues of all types. Really, really hard stuff, like the murder of George Floyd and that aftermath, COVID vaccinations, that sort of thing. And a lot of joyful stuff as well. Our business successes, community outreach, and recognizing our extraordinary associates and all the amazing things they do. Here's what I learned. It turns out you can say things with empathy and tone in a video that would never work if you tried to put them in an email. Now, before distribution, just to be safe, I do send them to a half dozen trusted leaders to review them, and here's our criteria. They want to make sure that I haven't said anything that's going to get me arrested, fired, divorced, or canceled. Any other screw-ups we can work through. Okay? Now, here's a really cool thing. When we were doing emails, 58% open rate, which is really good. Videos, 98% watch rate. 98%. And I text the videos because if the text won't go, it's too dang long. You can get 3 to 4 minutes is about all the video you can text. I will tell you, if I don't do a kayak video by the end of July, I get email complaints from employees. And God forbid I don't end a video with my tagline, "I'm Scott, and I'm out." Now, this seems simple in its purest form, but the impact of a connected, human-centered culture is far-reaching, and it makes it so much easier to drive transformational change. Now, these videos have transformed our culture and created a great deal of trust. Because like any business, we have to deliver hard messages, and sometimes we have to do hard things from time to time. But if associates feel like they're in relationship with leadership and trust them to do what they think is best, transformation happens much, much more quickly. Now, you'll notice one thing in this discussion. I haven't talked much about technology and driving transformational change and innovation. And that's not to say that technology innovation hasn't had huge impacts on our business. It has, and it will. and we spend tens of millions each year on technology innovation. But the greatest innovation opportunities come from how you combine new technologies with actual human needs for products and services. It's how you put things together to serve your unique stakeholders and your unique business problems that makes all the difference. One last thing. Transformational leadership requires two critical leadership traits. The first is to see what can be, to focus on what you can do and set aside for a moment what you can't do. Move past those issues and try to figure out the business problem in a way that is feasible. See the possible. The second step is simply to have the courage to try something different, to step forward and make the changes that are needed. So see the possibilities and have the courage to make things different. When you combine that with my 5 steps, stay true to your purpose, amplify your strengths, face the brutal facts, and drive innovation to solve real problems in new ways. Maximize every opportunity. Look for those 2-for-1s, those 3-for-1s, those 4. We once got a 6-for-1, which was awesome. Lead and live with heart. Lead and live with heart and humanity. Do that, and you too will become a transformational leader. So thank you for listening so patiently. My objective has simply been to tickle your imagination and provide some practical tips so that you can engage in the transformational leadership that I know your companies, your organizations need. And I believe the possibilities for all of us are endless. I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Very well done, my friend. Very well done. Have a seat anyway. Well, thanks, Scott, for being with us today and sharing with us, again, just some tremendous thoughts around leadership. I've got some thought starters. And again, if you've got questions in the audience, please hold up those cards and we'll get them to you. It looks like one's coming up here now. But I'll kick off with, you talked a little bit about innovation and elsewhere in the world. And how do you think about innovation elsewhere in the world? And how would it impact OneAmerica, your business?
So I think if you look at other places in the world that have to innovate just to get through every day, I think you can learn a lot about what you can bring home. And a great example, I know Adrian Gardner here is here today, the amazing leader of AMPATH. If you don't know AMPATH, you should. It's IU School of Medicine and other universities, but IU School of Medicine leads it. It's in Western Kenya, and they have research, teaching, and clinical care program there, and they have eradicated AIDS as a killer disease in Western Kenya. The only big hospital for 25 million people, made a huge difference. And I went over there with some folks and from the med school and from IU Health in 2019, and they showed us the NICU. And the only reason they have a NICU there is because the amazing doctors at Riley Children's Hospital here in Indianapolis paid for it. It's actually the Riley Mother and Children's Hospital. It's a separate building. They had a NICU that thought was going to be great. First NICU for 25 million people, and it had space for 50 babies. The day I was there were 200 babies. Wow. When plan B is you send mom home with her baby to die, you learn how to innovate really quick. And I watched nurses, because they only had 2 neonatologists on staff. They were running shifts. The nurses were figuring out how to get the less sick babies upstairs to a floor where they could be cared for so that the most sick babies could take up the space in the ICU. And I'm like, okay, how can we bring that back and act every day in our business like plan B is really bad. And we have to innovate, we have to think differently because change is required. So that was a lesson I learned from abroad that was really powerful and will stick with me forever. What would you do if you really had to? That's a great exercise to start every innovation discussion with.
Wow. Thanks, Scott. After that story, I think this question is very fitting from the audience. You are such a kind person, and I 100% agree. And so they say thank you. Tell us a bit about where that comes from.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you. My parents and my sisters, just amazing people in my life. My dad's a retired pastor. My mom was a missionary, and all they care about is people. That's all they care about. People first all the time. If my dad, who's 95 and a half, still living, if he met you, he would spend a half hour trying to find out all the great things about you. And he would tell everybody. And he would notice your flat sides, because we all got them. but he wouldn't remember them. And that's something it'll be a long time before I can do what he does. But that's a great way to live your life, is to look for the amazing things and then learn how to articulate them to somebody else. Then you're really onto something positive.
You talked about courage as a critical step in transformation. Can you talk about what it was like to step into the CEO role and one of the moments where courage was really required?
Great question. I got this job on April Fool's Day of 2014. So you can write your own joke, but it's been 10 years, the joke's on y'all, okay? I think I'll give an early example. My good friend and colleague, Kelly Gay, is Chief Marketing Officer, does a whole bunch of other stuff. We did a communications study that turned into a culture study. And what we heard from our associates was, we believe you on this serving the client thing. You live your mission, that's great, but we know it's not about us, but could it be about us just a little bit? Was like a mule kick to the chest. Wasn't what we intended, but we were leaving people feeling uncared for in our own associates, our own OneAmerica family. So we had to have the courage to accept that feedback and do something really quick. And we did. We changed that culture within 6 months by doing a couple of small things. They didn't cost a lot of money, but we spent a lot of time just making sure that people inside the company knew that we cared about them a lot, personally and professionally, that they mattered to us. And we did some things. We implemented a couple things that were things that they wanted to see, tangible expressions of our caring.
Here's one from the audience. How is OneAmerica planning for the costs of the baby boomer expenses, for example, long-term care?
Yeah, well, what we do is we have a product where the history of long-term care in the insurance industry is bad. Most of it is like a medical policy. You use it or you lose it. It was underpriced in the industry. It's been bad for the insurance companies. It's been bad for the client because they can get huge rate increases. What we did years ago was innovate. Actually, it was innovated by a company called Golden Rule. It used to be on 71st Street. And we bought from them in 2005 this business where they'd innovated a way to place long-term care with a life insurance product and have them work together. So now you have a product where we can't change the rates. We have to get it right at the beginning. It has tax advantages to it in terms of saving for your long-term care. And live, die, or quit, we're going to give you a benefit. So we're on the same side of the table as the client. We want them to live a long time, keep the product, and if they need care, the product's going to pay for their care for the lifetime. If they are a statistical freak and they need care for 20 years, that's on us. But it's stable financially, and then people have that certainty that they need to know that their care is going to be taken care of and that they'll get a benefit no matter what, and their premium dollars aren't going to go to waste. So we think that's the solution, and we're telling everybody, so please tell your friends. They're not a bank, they have this really cool long-term care product. You should talk to them.
Thank you. You mentioned you particularly appreciate leaders who demonstrate humility and fierce competitive spirit to be at their best. Can you tell us a bit about how you came to this recognition and why does it matter?
I think it matters because business is hard and things are going to go wrong, and all companies are led by imperfect people, imperfectly. And once you get over that fact and start trying to be perfect all the time, you can really step forward and lead. And I've just had some examples. Jeff, you're one of them. You and I both have had the opportunity to serve Dennis Murphy at IU Health. They went through COVID, and they had to really show some humility to be able, so that they could own problems and change in the moment, so the rest of us could be safe. Because IU Health there's no backup plan. It's kind of like that Kenya NICU during COVID. There was no back. We were relying on them, so they better be over their own egos, and Dennis was, and make the changes that are necessary and innovate on the spot to succeed. At one point, they were jetting up 1,000 work streams all at once that they had never even thought of pre-pandemic. I've also seen at Marion University, a friend of mine, Ken Britt, who started their disability programs because they weren't serving people with disabilities at Marion years ago consistent with their values. And he said, that's not right, and we're going to beat this problem. We're going to be the best. And now they've got a disability program that is really up and coming, and they're really doing a nice job with it. I'm really proud of them for having the humility to face the brutal fact that they've got an issue, and then being smart enough and dogged enough and competitive enough to go out and just crush that problem. Those are leaders I really like to follow.
Excellent, excellent. Here's another one from the audience. What ways can a transformational leader institute change among a team of various generations? I think we're all facing that as leaders in our organization. I see a lot of heads nodding out there. So what are your thoughts on, again, those leading across those generations?
Yeah, I know. You and I have difficulty because we work with older people, you know. Kidding. I think for any group of people, look for the commonalities, look for the common humanity, okay? As opposed to focusing so much on the differences. Where can we bring together? Where can we share a laugh together? Humor is a great place to start, but also just talk about it. What's important to different generations? How do we get understanding across different types of people? I think that works for any kind of diversity, whether it's around racial lines or gender or whatever. Just talk and say, well, you know, everybody cares about their families. There's a great place to start. Now we've got something to talk about. You got a family, I got a family. If I'm going to show caring about yours, you show caring about mine. We can be friends. We can be colleagues. We can lift each other up. And that spans all of these divides, political divides. Who cares about that stuff? Let's focus on the common humanity. We're all trying to make good and really drive towards our mission, the objectives of this organization, and we can do it together.
Great. You know, Scott, I think we're all learning that you are not that typical CEO.
Sorry.
I think everyone appreciates it. Incredibly smart. Again, and again, I love talking about, you know, the empathy, the community, giving back. Just appreciate that about you. And you mentioned a team of leaders that keep you on the right path. How important is it to have what some might consider to be a personal board of directors?
I think it is. I think particularly in leadership jobs, because it's not only lonely at the top, it's lonely in the middle, it's lonely at the first supervisor. That might be the loneliest job, is being a first level supervisor. And you have to have people that you can trust that have been through some of the same things, or maybe trying to figure it out the same as you are. So I have a whole bunch of leaders that during George Floyd, I relied heavily on my lasting relationships, good friends in the black and brown community, to say to me, here's what you need to say, here's what you don't need to say. Because I'll be honest with you, it was terrifying to talk about George Floyd. I had Karen, I had Kim, I had Denise, they're sitting here, and a bunch of other, Caroline Mays, who's on our board. I think I should say this, what do you think? And two things would happen, and Kim Thomas is amazing. If I was about to do something real dumb, she says it very kindly, like, well, Scott, and if I hear, well, that's a sign that I'm about to die, okay? But frankly, a lot of times it was affirming. They'd be like, that's it. That's what you got to say it that way, say it with empathy, get on video, and then I could go with confidence and really bang it out, as opposed to this corporate hedging we see, you know, that corporate speak language that doesn't actually say anything. And then the power of video, if you can just get on there and be a human being and talk to the dot and think of three people that you want to communicate with and think about them, that's a way to get empathy and scale that empathy to 2,500 people. Now, you have to mean it, but I think that's really helpful. So having that group, I have a group of CEOs in my industry where we're going to be meeting in January, where we just share things that aren't, anything that isn't antitrust is on the table, and we help each other, and we're friends. And then I have people locally, like you and Dennis and Ken and and Adrian, other folks, where we just share that leadership burden. I think that's really helpful. So I would advise you to have a number of circles that will enable you to get through this, because it's hard.
And appreciate, again, you know, having those conversations early on, especially after the murder of George Floyd, and appreciate that time. So thank you again for that. Here's one. I don't know if you can answer it. I don't know that you have the most embarrassing moment, but this is from the audience.
There's so many to choose from.
What was your most embarrassing or difficult experience, and how did you handle it?
I'm going to pivot that a little bit. The hardest thing that's happened to me in my career, and I've had a very blessed career, was as a new supervisor, I got really rough feedback. I was well-intended, but the way I was coming across, I was younger than most of the people that I was leading. Most of them were women. I'm a, 28-year-old idiot And I got really rough feedback. I thought I was done. I went to an amazing place called the Center for Creative Leadership. I took that feedback and I started to work on it. And I said, okay, I'm glad I know, because I can do this. And then I asked for help from those same people that were struggling with my leadership. And once I got through that, even though it was really, really hard, feedback truly became a gift. You all say that, but do you really mean it? And when I accepted that, that brought on that positive humility along with I'm a competitive person, to be able to make real change and then be successful and just let go of the fact that you're imperfect, because all organizations are led imperfectly by imperfect people.
Yeah, great. This is another one from the audience. This is more, I think, of a compliment or a request than a question. The billboards make my commute downtown much more enjoyable. Can that team get a raise?
Yes. Merit reviews are coming up in March. But thank you for the question.
Here's the last question.
OneAmerica people over here.
Advice for leadership transition, both for incoming and outgoing. I don't quite understand that one, but maybe you. Advice for leadership transition, both for incoming and outgoing.
Well, maybe somebody has a plan for my retirement that I wasn't aware of. Do I have any board members in the room here? On the incoming, I think it is seek feedback, get someone you trust, and keep them within 5 feet the whole time. A guy who's an amazing leader for us, runs our largest business, and when he was just getting promoted in that role, it was a big stretch for him. And he had an amazing HR business professional. And I said, if you're smart, you won't let Megan anywhere, more than 5 feet away from you at any one time. So you've got someone to talk to. You've got someone to you've got your Kim Thomas to say, well, Scott, and use other people and be secure enough in yourself that you actually seek advice and help. That's the best thing for incoming. Outgoing, I'll let you know. Yeah. It's not anytime soon.
Excellent. Well, Scott, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We've had a really good time hearing you speak. We've had a great, intelligent CEO here. I think you're taking away the same as I've known this for quite some time. Intelligent, smart, down to earth. Again, not your typical CEO. We have this asset here embedded in our community. So please join me in thanking Scott for being with us today.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Some last-minute notes here. Today's presentation will be available online at economicclubofindiana.com, so when you're sad, cue this thing up. Information and tickets for upcoming luncheons can also be found at economicclubofindiana.com. Again, if you parked in the Plaza parking garage, don't forget the QR codes outside. Everyone, please have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you back again in January. Thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.